Hi, Rich Carrubba for bowlingball.com. Okay, you're talking about getting ready for the new season. You want success in the fall bowling leagues. Okay, at the time I'm shooting this video, we're getting ready to kick off the fall bowling season. But really, the same notion applies to any time of the year if you're looking to develop your game. And one thing we suggest you do here at bowlingball.com to sharpen your game, to tune your game, is to develop an organized structure to practice. Now, we've talked about this, and there's articles about this in several different presentations here at Bowlversity section of our site. But by the way, you should try to get in at least 3 or 4 dedicated practice sessions prior to your season if you really want to develop some of the components of your game. First, you got to identify what they are. If you have trouble doing that, check with a coach, with an instructor, a pro shop local bowling professional, someone that you trust that will have maintain a high standard of performance to help you do that. Now, professional bowlers, what they do is they manage their game by using their practice time wisely. And if you're planning to bowl for an hour, for example, and you got 6 key areas of your game, spend 10 minutes on each one and you'll rehearse all the components of your game without being committed to what scores you're bowling in practice. Okay? Sounds simple, but you'd be surprised how so many bowlers get hypnotized with results instead of being focused on what you're doing to create the opportunity for good results. But we think some of the key components should be, number one, if we talk about 6 things, would be your setup. When you get on the approach, not only your positioning on the approach, which is your alignment, but you want to make sure that you get some flex in your knees, your spine angle, you tilt forward maybe 10 or 15 degrees. You want to visualize maybe a straight line from the front parts of your shoulders straight down over the tips of your kneecaps, a vertical line perpendicular to the floor. That means you're in a good athletic posture. That's the best way to describe it. And then you can start smoothly and consistently every approach. You want to avoid dropping your bowling shoulder a little lower. It's typical to have it a little lower than your opposite shoulder, but not too much because it might mess up the swing path alignment that's most desired for how you deliver the bowling ball. Next, your footwork. One of the first things that bowlers have to do when they get excited is they have too much tension in your legs. So you want to do that. You can have your knees flexed, but not bent so low that your top muscles or the big muscles in your quads and so on and your upper legs are tight or tense. You want to be able to take that first step smoothly. You want to walk lightly or softly on the floor and avoid digging in the floor and lunging into your sliding step. So you want a smooth, even gliding motion, regardless if you're a power player or you're throw the ball pretty straight, you're a stroker. Whatever your style is, balance and rhythm and tempo are critical because you've got to deliver that ball at a consistent ball speed. You know, your footwork has a lot to do with that. Your tempo and, of course, the direction you walk to the foul line. So make sure you take your normal pattern of footsteps from where you start and where you finish at the foul line and try to be able to repeat consistently so you can make some sense of lane play adjustments when you have to make alignment changes. Next is balance. Of course, balance is important. It all starts with a good setup, and you want to maintain a good posture and an athletic position as you walk to the foul line, and particularly you're isolated when you're releasing the bowling ball. You want to keep your upper body torso from using unnecessary movement while you're walking to the line. If you're a power player, usually your shoulders will rotate open and the ball might get up pretty high in the air in your backswing. But you want to do it consistently, so try to avoid overturning the shoulders beyond what's necessary, opening and closing them or windmilling them. It's okay to do that, but you want to make sure that you do it consistently so you can return every time to be in the right position to release the ball so your swing is aligned toward your target. Now, when your head is motionless and steady all through your approach, it's really a good balance mechanism for you. And you're trying to avoid elevation changes as well as tilting side to side or back and forward with your head and with your torso, because that will help you maintain good balance and keep that bowling shoulder in the same relative position you want it as you slide into the foul line, so your swing path will have a repeating motion each and every delivery. Now, your arm swing itself, you should work on a consistent trigger movement to initiate the swing, your push-away movement, whatever you want to call it. You want to move it smoothly into the swing. One of my friends, Barry Asher, Mark Baker, they use a term saying like you're moving the ball smoothly forward as if you're handing it to a small child. So the point is you don't want anything abrupt, quick, muscled, tense movements. It doesn't help you get a good trigger mechanism to begin a consistent swing. And you want to make sure that you begin the motion of the ball slightly before you use your first step if you're a four-step bowler. So you get the ball moving. Too many bowlers start walking and they move the ball later timing sequence, and then you run out of steps and you got to hurry the swing through, and some bad deliveries can occur. So you want to try to coordinate this, and again, check with a coach if you have questions about your best timing sequence based upon how you bowl. Now, when your bowling hand reaches the top of your backswing, make an effort to allow it to drop smoothly into the forward swing without grabbing it and hurrying it. In other words, grabbing it could be squeezing or increasing the gripping pressure on the bowling ball and hurrying it through, because that usually makes your turn occur too soon before your hand reaches the releasing zone near the bottom of your slide shoe, and when you need to release the ball properly. So increasing hand tension just prior to the critical moment of release can be detrimental to good delivery. So try to let the ball flow smoothly, keep even grip and pressure all through your swing, and it'll help you regulate your tempo. And your release, again, then you want to check that forward arm position. Make sure you haven't rotated the whole arm over before you're ready to release the ball. All you got to do is rotate the fingers a couple degrees, and the whole arm doesn't need to rotate, especially violently or prematurely. Regulate the moment of release, and that's the exact moment you release the ball in relationship to your sliding bowling shoe. By making sure your thumb exits the ball prior to your fingers and somewhere around the heel of your bowling shoe. Now, it all happens very quickly. So sometimes if you're late with your release, you got to think that you're releasing it much sooner than reality would show if you were filming yourself on a video. And then the amount of energy you impart on the bowling ball with your hand or with your releasing, gripping fingers during the release process, you want to make that consistent each and every delivery so you get the same rev rate and the same launch velocity on the bowling ball. Those are two good keys to focus on to get speed control each shot, and the same launch velocity and the same amount of energy imparted into your releasing action with your bowling hand. And finally, your finish and your focus. Work on holding your form at the foul line until after the ball is released and maybe it passes the target. It only takes about a second from the ball to leave your hand, get to the bowling arrows 15 or 20 feet down the lane. So hold your form for a second, hold your balance, make sure you can watch your ball cross your target with your eyes. Keep your eyes keenly focused on that mark and hold your form, because it's good discipline when you practice, so in competition you don't get in a hurry to release it and then pull your head and shoulders out of the way prematurely, and that can cause an errant delivery. So those things are very important to do, to consider when you're on the lanes practicing. If you can rehearse those 6 categories or key elements or components of your game, if you can spend about an hour and spend 10 minutes on each one, create a little outline for yourself. Make notes. Bring it with you to the bowling center. There's no harm with doing that. If you don't have a coach with you to constantly spot you and tell you what to do over and over, and you got to kind of self-coach yourself, work on your setup, your footwork, your balance, your swing, release, and finally your finish position and the focus on your target. Hope these tips help. Thank you.